Two viewers. Why does it say two viewers? That's not right. Two viewers. Why does it say two viewers? That's not right. Two viewers. Why does it say two viewers? That's not right. Two viewers. Why does it say two viewers? Uh-oh. I need to turn that down. That's what that was. I guess I had a feedback loop. Oh well. Hopefully I'll be able to edit this later. Should be alright. Alright, hello, my name is Stonecross, and I will be doing a full playthrough of the game Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which just recently came out for the Xbox One and PS4 with an HD remastered version. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. I'm going to be playing a new game instead of hard mode. Mostly because this is kind of like a walkthrough, sort of. I've played the game a couple times, I've beaten it twice, and every time I go to look up something about this game, there's not a lot of information on YouTube for it. So I was thinking that I could put up this video as like a explanatory walkthrough for someone who would be interested in playing the game. Although, let's be real here, the only person who's going to watch this is my brother. Alright. Anybody watching this video probably already knows what Dragon's Dogma is, because the only way they would find it is by looking for it. There we go. Find this video is by looking for it, because I can't imagine that many new people are looking for Let's Plays on this game.
Dragon's Roost is just beyond.
But, give me one second. Let's move this up here. There we go. But I'll be talking about it like whoever's watching this, Robert, doesn't know what this game is. Both to explain what's going on and to better collect my thoughts. Let's see here. Oh, so that is the main antagonist of the game. Well, for the first 70% of the game, the main antagonist of the game is the dragon. He's got a name, I don't remember what it is. Where am I going? And right now we're playing the tutorial where you play as something called the Arisen, which is a being that is chosen by the dragon to attempt to defeat the dragon. They're not necessarily guaranteed to succeed. They are just given the task with trying. They're usually picked because they show valor or courage or something like that, and ability. These little bricks right here are, what are they called? Not port crystals, like, I can't remember the name. But anyways, you go up to it, a riftstone. You go up to it and it'll help you summon an AI companion. These AI companions are normally created by other players, but for the tutorial I think these are just generic ones that the game gives you. And you can issue them with commands with the D-pad, but I don't really ever do that unless I really am in trouble, because they're pretty okay at dealing with situations on their own. Oh. I can remember how to combat roll, that'd be great. As you can see, my sword just caught on fire. The mage in my group has the ability to enchant weapons. Higher level mages can do better enchantments. This one gives me a fire enchantment, which is good against certain kinds of monsters. I think it's good against these goblins. But yeah, what's going on right now? So this is this tutorial mission is actually canon to the story, I think. You get to create your own character, but this guy, the guy I'm playing right now, is one of the heroes who successfully defeated the dragon, I believe. They don't really go into detail on who you're playing right now, but if I remember correctly when I was reading through some of the Wikipedia entries, he did successfully beat the dragon. I don't know. I don't think you. It's been a little while since I've played. I don't think you fight the dragon itself in this tutorial. And these are harpy monsters, and there ends up being like 6 or 7 different kinds of monsters. So you see how it cut away and like pulled my view to that ally? That sometimes your allies will do these special moves, like that guy was using a distraction technique that calls monsters to him, and the game has a really annoying habit of showing these to you all the time, even though I usually don't care. The AI are okay, but I wouldn't rely on them in battle, and I certainly wouldn't try to use their tactics because they're pretty dumb. I would just generally try and deal with the battles yourself. I'd leave the AI on auto and just do your own fights like that. Like it pulls you away to show that he's holding the goblin. Like, well, if I hit the goblin while he's holding him, I'll do extra damage, and that's kind of nice. But I don't need to be told every time it happens, because it can happen a couple times a fight. There we go. But right. Anyways, this game, Dragon's Dogma, came out back in 2012, I think, 2012, 2013. If I remember correctly, it only came out on the consoles and then had a later release maybe a year or two afterwards on the PC. And then another year or two after that, they came out with something called Dark Arisen, which is like this expansion pack / revamp of the game. I don't know if you could buy Dark Arisen as a separate thing or if you had to buy the whole game again. But it added some new content. Definitely, or I think it should have been DLC only. But it added maybe, depending on how deep you want to get into it, maybe like 20 or 30 more hours of content. So I guess you can't complain too much. But just recently, and the reason I'm playing it is because it got an HD re-release on Xbox One and PS4, and I don't actually think the re-release came out on the PC, because the PC already had a kind of HD re-release on it. But it came out, today's November 16th, so it came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I meant to pick it up then, but didn't. Now I'm doing it now. Whatever. Nobody's gonna care. I don't think all that many people care about this game anymore, and I doubt many people will watch this video. I'm doing it mostly because I want to do it, because I fucking love this game. I was in the Navy for 5 years, and I took a games case, which are those little briefcases with TVs built into them. And because there's not a lot of room on a submarine, which is what I was stationed on, and I would take a games case with me with my 360, and this was one of the games I brought, and I must have put like 60 or 70 hours into it while I was underway because it was the only thing to do. So I played this game a lot. Uh, it doesn't show by my constant starting and stopping and flailing around in combat, but I've actually played it a fair bit. But so I grew to enjoy this game. I think being in that unique situation forced me to play and enjoy this game a lot more than most people would. Because I think a lot of people would play this game for maybe like 8 hours and then get fed up with it because it's definitely got some bullshit in it. Uh, Mainly that there's a bunch of different kinds of enemies, which is nice, but the problem is there's also different classes of the same enemy, and the game is really bad at telling you what class you're fighting, so you can walk into a fight that you're really underpowered for, and you don't find out until half your party's dead. Like bandits, there's like a few different tiers of bandits, but they all look the same. So you'll run up to one guy thinking you're gonna one-shot him with a power attack, and you barely do any damage to him, and then he just cuts you in half. What we're doing right now is a beast fight. I don't know if there's a real term for it. I call it beast fighting. But there are these special monsters in the game. This is one of the smaller monsters you'll face, and also one of the weaker ones. That doesn't show, by the way. It's kicking my ass, but it is one of the weaker ones. I gotta get over this. But it's a chimera, and this is actually a pretty cool part of the game, because if I could remember how to right trigger, if I can remember how to grab, you can actually jump up, or you don't even have to jump. You can start standing, and you can grab onto the side of it, and you can climb to a weak spot like this goat head right here, and you can just chop away, and you can do damage to it. The orange bar under the green bar is my health. The orange bar is stamina. While I'm hanging like this, it's gonna slowly eat stamina, and also sword swings eat stamina, and sprinting eats stamina, which is really annoying because this game is really fucking big and it's nice to be able to get around quickly. One of my allies just did something that's cool about this game is that you can chop, certain monsters have certain weak spots that can get literally chopped off. Like they cut the snake's head off of his tail, so he's weaker now. Although his attacks do the same amount of damage, I guess he just runs away more or something. I've never really noticed, but at least the snake can't spit poison or bite or anything. And this monster's goat head has the ability to cast spells, so killing the goat head is nice because then it can't cast any more like harmful effects on you. But it's still got the lion head, which it won't. We can't kill the lion head. You can't like kill the lion head first and leave the goat in charge. Like the lion head's going to be alive until the monster is dead. And you can see as it gets weaker and more heads chopped off, it gets more violent and aggressive, and it'll start flailing around a lot more. And it can do a decent amount of damage. This class doesn't have a combat roll, I just remembered. I think it only has a jump, so I don't... Like, I'm used to playing because there's 9 different classes in this game, which is pretty cool. But all of the classes have different, like, evasive maneuvers, I guess you could call it. Or there's at least several different evasive maneuvers to go through the classes. Which is cool and all, but it means that certain classes don't end up with useful things like dodge roll, or I think that mages might be able to do like a teleport. I can't remember though. Or like the striders are the only ones who can do a double jump, and double jump is really, really important if you want to get into high up, like hard to reach places, or just do a lot of exploring. Are we losing this fight? I haven't been paying attention at all. But yeah, this game is pretty interesting. Like I said, I think most people would probably kind of give up on it after a while just because it's kind of bad at telling you where you're supposed to go next. I mean, I know where to go because I played this game a lot, but just starting out, I remember the first time I played this game, actually before I went underway or anything like that, I got it back in 2013, I think. And I played it for a couple hours, and I got fed up with it because I didn't know which quests furthered the story, and some of the quests I went on were way too high level, and I ended up getting my ass kicked, and I just got annoyed with it. And it wasn't until I was pretty much in a situation where I could do nothing but try and play this game that I finally like forced myself to enjoy it. And once you understand the story and everything, it becomes a little bit clearer. But yeah, I don't. It's a good game. It's a good game, but it definitely has a lot of issues. I think a lot of people compare it to Skyrim, but I would not compare it to Skyrim. It's it's a lot more RPG. Like I know Skyrim's the ultimate RPG, but this feels a lot more like a strictly RPG, whereas Skyrim was a lot more like action adventure. Like this is definitely a like all about numbers, all about planning and tactics kind of game, especially if you play on hardcore mode, because the enemies on there are brutally difficult. At least on a new character. If you start hardcore mode on like a new game plus, it's still pretty much a joke because the enemies don't scale to you at all. I think. Like certainly not in just the base game. Oh, we're watching the new Dragon Beat. So this is another thing the game is bad at explaining. We just played a guy who squared off with the dragon, and it cuts to black. And then what it does not explain is what is happening right now is like 2,000 years later. Like that guy won his fight against the dragon, and now a new dragon is being born into the world. So it'd be nice if they explained that, but here we are. So I think the dragon's design is freaking cool in this game. And the voice acting is really, really well done. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it on mine because I have the game volume and sound effects volume turned down, but I left the voice volume up so that you can, because I always play games like that so I can hear what they're saying. Otherwise, I find the soundtrack drowns them out. And of course, the volume's probably turned down a pretty good bit for my stream. I hope I have that set right because we're like a decent amount of time into this, and it'd suck if I had to start all over again because you couldn't hear me. Although most of you, nobody's watching this, but if somebody did watch this, they'd probably be happy they couldn't hear me. You do get to fully customize a character in this game, which is pretty cool. The customization is actually pretty neat in that, like most games like Skyrim or not relevant at all, but Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you can only make like super buff mega warrior guy. And this game will let you make pretty much anything, including a fat person. I don't usually play as a fat person. I actually usually like to try to make the character look like me. Whatever. Most people do. I think it's fun. And this game can actually let you get pretty close. Let's see here. Male. Oh, jeez. Okay, here we go. And we'll just name him Crucify. Naming him doesn't matter. No character ever says your name or anything like that. A decent amount of this game is actually voice acted, which is nice, especially considering that the time it came out, that wasn't always the norm. You don't have to do a lot of reading unless you want to. I do have the subtitles turned on. I have the subtitles turned on for this game because the volume's going to be low and everything. And also I like having subtitles on because a lot of these guys have like British accents and they can be a little bit hard to understand sometimes. I'm going to name my guy Cherry. I don't know why. Continue. You're not picking your class right now. You are just picking the build of your character. Like you can just pick one of these guys and play the game and it's fine. I like to fully customize the body build of my character. I don't know how else to say that, but I will select a base body. I don't know. I'll just do the default character and do everything custom because I don't want to deal with that. There we go. Select a voice. I can't hear the voices right now, and I don't want to turn it up and interfere with this. So we're going to go with 9, which is my favorite number. I might want to change that because I think I heard it and I think it was a very high pitched like girl voice, so I might change it. But maybe we'll just leave it. So you can go to it's a little bit tricky. It doesn't tell you like it gives you those limited options and it says confirm. But if you go to make more detailed edits, it means very detailed. Like all of a sudden we're into like cheekbones and nose and eyes and everything. I know a lot of games do that. I know Skyrim and Fallout 4 and I'm sure plenty of others I'm not remembering right now do this. But it was pretty robust at the time the game came out. It would be nice if with all the like re-releases they have done, they would expand on it a little bit, but I still think it's pretty comprehensive. I usually do hairstyle first because that tends to affect how I build the character's face. I'm actually not going to change the face because that's way too long. And I don't know, kind of looks like me, doesn't he? The advantage of having a webcam now is I can look at my own hair while I'm picking. I'm going to go with that guy. I don't know why I'm looking at anybody else, because all of the hairstyles are long, and I think all these are girl. No. 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 We'll get that's funny, and we'll get to why in a minute. It has something to do with the fact that you don't just make one character in this game. You actually make two characters, and the second character is just as important as your primary. I don't know. I'm gonna go with that one. Screw it. The second character you make is just as important as the first. For anybody who doesn't know about this game, you make a second character and you kind of rent them out to other players, and in return you also rent two other people's second characters. I'll explain it better whenever it actually comes time to make them. But it's actually a pretty neat system in that so your party can be up to 4 people, including yourself. And the great thing about other people is there are crazy people in the world who will spend way too much time playing a game. I'm almost there with this game, but not like some people. Some people spend way too much time playing this game, get all this amazing gear for their characters, and min-max all their stats and give them all the right perks, and so you can get these like incredibly powerful warriors instead of, like a normal game would have. If it had NPC characters to follow you around, they would be balanced, and that's good for gameplay and everything like that. I know balancing is important, but you can go get these super soldiers from other people's games and make the job a lot easier if you want. I'm not going to deal with that. We are going to change the bodies, and it's cool. Like it's not just height and weight, although those are the only two, in skin color. Those are the only 3 options there. In a different slide that I did not pick, you can also pick your posture, so you can actually even change how your person stands. So you can do like chest out, like real imposing, powerful, or you can even have them all bent over like weak, or you can do anywhere in the middle. And I think they even have a masculine to feminine slider that changes how far apart you stand with your legs, and also like if your feet are pointed in or out, which I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess it is. I am going to make him pretty tall. I'm not going to make him I don't know. It says height 210. Is that centimeters? I am 6'5", so let's see what that is in centimeters, and we will base that on that. So what? 6'5" in centimeter. 195. So if we're assuming that height means centimeters, then this one would be the closest to my actual height. And I weigh 215 pounds. Oh, this is fatness. Okay, so I'm not that skinny. I don't wish I was that skinny. That's a little much. I'd say right about here. Skin color white as the driven snow. Okay, maybe not that pale. A healthy pink. A nice pig. I'm one of them long pigs. Is that something? Okay. So we'll go with musculature. No, man, I wish. I'd say that one. Let's be modest here, and realistic, mostly realistic. But the cool thing is you can do these presets. Like this one, I think is just mostly dealing with the width of your shoulders. So you can make them broad, or you can bring them in. Obviously you can make a character however you want. I try to make mine look like me. I think 3. Yeah, 3 is probably going to be my best bet. And there's a lot of options, which is pretty cool. You can make your character. Jesus, you can make a character into the Hulk apparently. You can make a character. 10's not bad either. I think I'm gonna go 10. You make a character pretty reasonably proportioned, or you can make him like this big muscle juggernaut god. But I like this game because I like this character creation system, because how you make your character will actually affect their stats. I think a larger character can carry more and hits harder, but is slower to do dodge moves and stuff, and maybe can't run as fast. And so I know it affects it somehow. I know that smaller characters can move faster. I think they drain less stamina when they run, and they can jump higher. I believe that is it. but I can't remember for certain. But I know size and weight do affect. Gonna pick arms here. I got long arms, so maybe 3. Geez, Titans. 7's not bad either. I gotta go long, but not too bulky, despite my best efforts in real life. Legs. I got long legs. So, does the length of the leg change the height? I guess not. I guess it just changes your weight, but that's weird because some of the legs are demonstrably longer than the others. That I'm not. I can't pick. Oh, that's pretty accurate. Stance. So this is what I was talking about. You can do posture and stance. So posture, imposing. You stand like it's not just your shoulders wide, but you're also chest back. Like look at it. If you go from timid, he's almost uncomfortably like far back. He's like leaning like this as he stands, which is a little weird. I'll probably go. I'll probably go middle road. Then stance, you can do ladylike. You see the feet move in and the arms come down, or you can do macho. And I definitely don't stand like that. I'm going to do middle ground again because I'm a middle of the road kind of guy. I can't see those options because of my screen cam, but I don't need to because all I want is that one. I want to change my hair color to whatever you'd call this. That's close enough. All right. And that should be everything. There we go. Don't care to edit any of that. I think I have a goofy, really girly voice. I also don't know what the weight is, because like a stone is like 14 pounds, so it can't be stone, because then I'd weigh like 1,000 pounds. Maybe kilograms. I don't know. This game is Japanese. It was made by Capcom, which is weird. It actually caught me off guard because when I first started playing this game, I didn't know it was made by Capcom. I thought it was a Western RPG, similar to like Skyrim or something. And then you meet then you eventually get to a castle. You meet a princess and the king, and you start having like interactions with them. You're like, man, this is a very Japanese style like comedy interaction thing. And then I was like, and then a few things that we'll get to later happen. You're like, yep, this is a Japanese game. And I looked at it, and sure enough, it's by Capcom. I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. And I know the Capcom title screen or title card flashes at the beginning of the game. I just wasn't paying attention, and it kind of caught me off guard. But yeah, so this is the actual start of the game, and you start in this little fishing town village thing. I guess you're like a fisherman. They never really explain what you do in the village before what's about to happen happens. That dude is woefully undertextured. His face looks like it melted in the fire. But basically, the setup to the story right now is that we saw the dragon falling from the sky. That happened a little while ago. They never say how long ago, but it happened a little while ago. And ever since the dragon showed up, all these monsters and creatures started appearing in the world again. So these guys are here to recruit people to join the army because they're trying to strengthen the army to fight back against all the monsters that have been showing up. And then all of a sudden, who would have guessed it, the dragon himself shows up. And you have to... I don't really know what your plan was, what our plan is, his plan is, or whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, we'll just watch. The facial animations are pretty hilarious in this game sometimes, especially your own. Like, I don't know why, but your character he always looks like he doesn't understand what's happening, and is also surprised by all the events occurring. And he never comes close to ever looking intelligent. Like, even towards the end of the game, when you're talking to all these powerful people and fighting all these powerful monsters, your dude's always gonna look like a dimwit. I guess it's because of the character creation. Like, they had to make the facial expressions vague so that they could match whatever monstrosity you create. But you end up looking a little ridiculous. So, I like this. No, actually, I don't like this. So, it's going to pop me in, and I get to fight the dragon, right? You should be able... okay, maybe not kill the dragon, but you should be able to like. There should be multiple versions. Like you should be able to fight the dragon and do damage to him to a certain amount. And you get a different like you get a different cutscene or something. But no matter what you do, you can't do any damage to the dragon. You can't hurt him in any way, and you can avoid his attacks all you want. How do you run? I think it's clicking. Yeah, you can avoid his attacks all you want, and you can hit him as much as you want. It doesn't matter. You can't do any damage to him. It doesn't change anything, and eventually, uh, the cutscene that follows will just start. Yep, like any hit he does against you is an insta kill. Like I've been able to avoid all of his attacks up to a point, and after like 5 minutes, it just says, "Listen, you're just gonna start. You're just gonna start this cutscene now. We gotta get the show on the road." But I think it would be cool is if it like acknowledged if you were able to keep out of his reach and do damage to him. But whatever. I mean, I get it, but that might seem like a weird gripe to have, but this game has like 12 different endings you can get. It's so weird because there are so many different choices you can make and actions you can take to affect the ending, but the beginning is so linear that you never get that sense of master of your own destiny until about halfway through the game when you realize you're making really big changes. So another weird point, uh, the dragon has to pick an arisen. Like the guy we were playing in the tutorial was an arisen. He was chosen by the dragon. So theoretically, the dragon picks based on your personal attributes. So he wants somebody who actually has the potential of coming and getting him. And this is how you become an arisen. You get your heart ripped out, uh, which would be great if the dragon just messed up and killed you. And he's like, well, I guess I'll find another one. But yeah, that'd be a great fake out for the game. Is if you spend all this time creating a character and then your character dies and you play as some other schlub that you don't have any input on how they look like or anything. But he's supposed to pick you based on like your merit, and I can understand the guy we played in the tutorial because I think he was a knight or something, and after he kills the dragon, he becomes king of the land. But he was somebody before the dragon arisenified him. You're nobody. You're just a farmer, town, village guy, and while it is pretty brave of you to run up to the dragon with nothing but a rusty sword, it's also kind of stupid, and you didn't successfully do anything but, I guess, like, give him a splinter on his hand, so it seems kind of arbitrary. Although, I guess if he picks too powerful of an arisen, he's almost guaranteed to die, whereas if he picks you, it's a pretty good shot that, you'll not succeed, and he has to keep living. But, uh, the dragon actually wants you to succeed, he just never makes it easy. And that's something they cover in the story later as to why the dragon cares about all this and why he's doing that. You don't find out until much later in the game, but he actually wants you to beat him, but he can't make it easy for you. You have to legitimately beat him. And now because he's ripped our heart out, he can communicate with us, but he never does it. He'll talk to you like twice, maybe two, maybe three times throughout the rest of the game like this, and that's about it. And you'd think like or you would hope that without a heart you'd be indestructible and could never die or whatever. But you can absolutely die. So you know, well, actually, now that I think about it, I just remembered that uh, something we'll get into later when we meet some other people is that you'd think that there would only be one arisen in the world at a time because of the ceremony of the dragon, the cycle, everything like that. But you actually meet other arisen in this game. Um, and one of the effects of having your heart torn out is that you are, I guess, immortal as long as you don't get killed, which is stupid. But you can't die of old age, and I don't think you can die of disease or infection or anything like that. You have to be slain, otherwise you live forever. Um, and now we get to pick our class. And there are 9 classes in the game, but you only get to start with 3. And I think I usually start with fighter or strider. I don't like the magic system in this game very much, but I think it's a personal thing. A lot of people seem to like it just fine. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's weird. I like strider because he has melee and range. The fighter's he's stuck with range, or he's stuck with melee, and I never like the shield. I never like shields in any game, but even in this game, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's kind of finicky to block with. and usually you're not going to spend much time blocking. You can have shield attacks like shield bash and everything, but they're always lesser versions of actual weapon attacks. So I think I'm going to go with fighter because I'm going to go with fighter because he can actually do damage. And what I mean by that is striders use daggers, and until you get enough strength up, daggers are very, very weak and do very little damage. The bow's okay, but bows will eat through your stamina, especially if you're doing special shots, which you can do pretty much off the bat, but they eat through your stamina, and they only do some damage. Fighters with their swords actually manage to do a fair bit of damage right off the bat, so I'm going to go with fighter. And also, each different class upgrades their stats in a different way, and I think out of the beginning three, fighter increases strength the most per level. And that kind of stuff is actually very, very important to this game. Like, what class you pick is going to determine your stats for the rest of this character, which is basically the game. By the way, you can only make one character per game. So this guy that I have, it's not like I can do this guy for like the stream or recording or whatever, and then go on my off time play a different character just to have fun with. I'm stuck with this dude. If I wanted to make a new character, I would have to either export my save to like a USB drive or something, or just delete him in order to make a new character. So I'm stuck with this guy pretty much because I don't want to go through the hassle and everything. But stat allocation is very important, and there's this weird situation where some classes earn attributes that are better suited for other classes. So an example would be the assassin earns more strength per level than the warrior does. So if you want a good warrior, you need to spend a lot of time as an assassin to boost your strength attribute. It's kind of weird and annoying, but that's actually how I ended up playing as the assassin class the first time I played through this game, and found that the assassin class was the most fun anyways, because he can use a sword instead of daggers. He can use a sword or daggers, sword's better, and a bow, so he's got heavy melee damage and good range damage, so I end up usually playing him anyways. I'm playing the warrior right now because he does the best strength out of the beginning three classes. This is your love interest. Well, this is your first love interest. And I guess canonically she's the primary love interest, but you can actually, and this is another really weird thing that it has kind of in common with games like Skyrim or Fable, you can technically marry or be in a relationship or whatever you want to call it with just about anybody in the game. I think even male or female. I think everyone in the kingdom is bisexual or whatever, which is fine. But there's only like 7 that actually have storylines. Like that girl, a princess you meet later, a witch you meet out in the woods. Those people you have quests for, and you'll do things for, and they'll have this growing progression storyline deal. You could meet a random villager, raise their affinity to max, and marry them, but they won't even have any spoken lines of dialogue, more than likely. They won't have any special quests for them. They won't do anything interesting. So it's kind of a waste. It's kind of like in Fable, if you marry a random citizen, in Fable 3, you have the main love interest, who is that chick with the ridiculously long Super Saiyan 3 hair, or you have a random villager. You can marry a random villager, but they're not going to say anything interesting or do anything interesting or anything like that. So you might as well go with one of the pre-set up love interest people. Which, even though she's the canonically the love interest, I actually prefer the witch in the woods, even though, well, we'll get into that when we meet her, but it's a little weird, but she makes the most sense to me from the story. So this is where we're introduced again to the concept of pawns. They never go into super detail on where they come from or what they are, but basically they're a humanoid that, well, in the game they say that the pawns aren't as intelligent or have no free will as normal humans, but as far as I can tell, the pawns have plenty of free will. They do things on their own. They own a building in the main town, and they run their own guild. Like, they have some sort of free will, but they just don't have enough to like say no when people tell them to do something. But left to their own devices, they're just fine. They're plenty capable. This guy will explain it more to you. I'll take a couple seconds if you want to read it between clicking through. But oh, this is the village chief, by the way. That chick that we saw earlier, that's his daughter. He'll have a quest for you later for her. Um, it might. I was supposed to wait, but it might seem like I'm kind of spoiling some things when I say like, oh, he's gonna have a quest for his daughter later, or oh, she's a love interest. The reason I'm doing that is because this game is terrible at telling you what's going on and what you need to do. One of the things it doesn't explain to you is that like here it says available quests change as you progress through the game. Great. What it doesn't tell you is that a lot of the quests, when they first pop up, they have a time limit. Like when this guy says, "I have a quest for you for my daughter," not even accepting it, just it existing, it has a timer. I don't remember how long it is, but it's in-game days. And if you wait long enough, that quest will go away, and it's never explained. And same thing with you'll go to bounty boards, and there'll be a quest like escort this person to this place, and you're like, okay, well let me go do this other thing. Come back, that quest's gone. The person walked there by themselves, and they have like I think they even have like a chance of dying while they're out there. So you can get screwed by letting one of your, because it's usually people you know, letting one of them try to do this quest by themselves, they die, you're fucked. And the game is really bad at telling you that. Like, so the first time I played this game, I would be going along doing my thing. Every once in a while, I'd check the bounty board. I'm like, why are these quests always popping in and out? Like, what the hell's going on? It's because they're going away. You can also kind of milk that. Most of the quests cycle through, so it'll be like take Celine to the Hope Spring, and you do it, and then 2 in-game weeks later, the same quest pops up, and you can do the quest again and get experience and rewards and everything like that. And that's made really, really easy by something we'll get into later called fairy stones and waypoint shards and everything like that. So Rook is our first guy. You always get Rook when you start the game. I don't play as a magic user usually. Sometimes I make my secondary character a magic user, but I've kind of moved away from that. These days, whenever I get a magic user, it is from somebody else, and they're another member of my party. Rook sucks, but so let's go ahead and leave. There's not really. I mean, you can walk around the village and meet people and all like, oh shit. Well, there is one thing you need to do in the village that I forget about because they added it in with Dark Arisen. And he's gonna tell you like, hey, come this way, we'll do some shit. But not right now. We gotta go back to the tavern because the taverns act as both a place for you to stop and sleep because there's a day-night cycle in this game, and so you can sleep till morning. And time passes affects things like respawn rates of monsters and everything like that. So you need to sleep sometimes in order if you're trying to grind XP by killing things. But taverns also act as a place to store shit. So you go up to the guy, you do speak. I don't know if I can access my inventory yet because we're still kind of like in tutorial mode, but here we go. So you can rest till morning or till nightfall. You can manage stored items, withdraw. So, okay, so good. So here it is. So these life stones, this is for the Dark Arisen thing. It says it'll take you to Bitter Black Isle. Why did my thing freeze? Hello? Okay, that's, I don't know if you can still hear me, but my webcam froze, so I don't know if I'm good. What's going on here? It says I'm still live. I think I'm still good. Okay, well, that's going to be an awkward, like, 50 seconds where I'm frozen in place, but watching my playback, I'm still coming through on the camera. Yeah, I'm still coming through on the camera, but for some reason on my feed up here, my camera's frozen, and I can't bring up the the overlay to control my camera to try and like reset it or anything, but I can see in my live stream that I'm still going. So I guess I will just keep going because it's not affecting the stream in any way. Yeah, I'm watching my playback of me stare into the camera because I don't know if the camera's working or not right now. So sorry about that. I guess I'll just roll on without it. And I mean, I can't see myself move, but I'm still moving on the live stream, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. Anyways, these life stones right here, they take you to the Bitter Black Isle, which is the beginning of, or not the beginning of, it is like this, it's the DLC area introduced in Dark Arisen. I wouldn't go there until you've beaten the game once, or at least are really familiar with the game, mostly because it's intended as a post game, like, loot grind area. It doesn't have a lot, I mean, it has a story, but it's not anything to do with the main story. So, there's a lot of really powerful monsters in it. There's a lot of one-hit kill monsters. Like there's this weird death thing that roams around that can fuck you up. So for the most part, I would just stick to the main game until you're ready to go to it. I would say maybe like level 50. Uh, so I'm not gonna take those. I'm gonna leave those here. What is that? A distinctive incense that draws up. Oh yeah, that's another thing for Bitter Black Isle. I think these 3 head things are mostly like cosmetic slash funny. I think, yeah, I'm not gonna mess with any of those. Now this is actually important. I appreciate that they added new armor and equipment to the game. I'm annoyed that they didn't integrate it into the game in any way. Like they just throw the things at you. Like here's these 3 things for any variable class. They're really, really good equipment, but you get them right off the bat, and you're gonna wear them for the entire game. Like I played the HD re-release of this game on PC like 4 months ago, and that chest piece right there, that vagabond armor, I think I beat the game wearing it. And to me, that sucks because the whole point of an RPG is to get better equipment as you go. You know, you like a Diablo 3, as you find things, you replace the stuff you're wearing, and you feel a sense of progression. If you're wearing the same shit at the end of the game that you were wearing at the beginning, then you haven't progressed any in terms of equipment. Like you're still, I don't know, it's just lame. I wish they would at least put it in the store and make it like $500,000. That way, if I really want it early, I can just grind money and get it. The lion spine, I know for a fact I wore for the entire game. And I think like 80% of the game I beat wearing that, and then I finally found something that was slightly better, so I just gave that thing to my secondary character, and he wore it for the rest of the game. So once again, kind of lame. So I am not going to play with any of these. So if you're playing this game and you wanna play with this stuff, like it shows you the details. It'll give you these stats. They might not look impressive, but they're pretty good, especially for starting equipment. They're pretty amazing. But I'm not gonna play with any of them because I wanna enjoy this game with some challenge, and be able to feel a sense of progression. Maybe after I've gotten to a high enough level where I feel like it's not cheating anymore, I'll come get that stuff. But for now, I'm gonna leave it all there. Also, another thing that it doesn't explain to you, but it's good to know, is that this is the base town. Eventually, you're going to go to, that's another sport I was talking about. Eventually, you're going to go to a castle, and once you get to the castle, it unlocks more stuff in that inventory storage system that I was just explaining. That was in the tavern. All the taverns are connected, so you drop something off of one tavern, it goes to any other, standard stuff. But once you go to the castle, a bunch of more DLC equipment becomes available, and it doesn't tell you. So once you get to the town, something that it's very, very important to go get is a teleportation stone. I can't remember the name of it right now, but in the base game, Dragon's Dogma, there were these fairy stones that were one use, and they could only teleport you to one of like 3 places, and they cost like $5 a piece. They were pretty expensive, or maybe $20 a piece. They were pretty expensive, and there were very few of them. There were a limited number in the game. I got it. So they were, you almost never used them. In the original Dragon's Dogma, I barely used the fairy stones just because they were kind of hard to get, and they were only useful in certain situations. Well, in Dark Arisen, they gave you this fairy stone that I think it's called the Eternal Fairy Stone that is infinite. You can use it as many times as you want. So it becomes way more useful because you can place these things. I forget what they're called, but they're basically a port crystal, and you can put it anywhere in the world you want, and then you can use a fairy stone to teleport to it. Well, port crystals weren't that useful in the first game because, like I said, you didn't have many fairy stones. They were expensive. They were limited. So putting down a port crystal, you would only use it if you really, really need to. But now that you have an infinite one, I think you can set down a maximum of 7 port crystals, so you can teleport all over the map for free. And you see how I pretty much chopped through those guys. If I had tried to use the daggers as my primary attack weapon, it would have been a much different story. I wouldn't have lost the fight. It would have just taken much longer. The daggers really do not do hardly any damage to start off with, which kind of sucks. But you can get good, like once your stats upgrade, once you get better strength, you can get good daggers. You can get better daggers, more powerful daggers. It actually makes it viable, and a lot of the daggers are very like not really stun locky, because the annoying thing about this game is you don't frequently stun lock somebody. Like you can be wailing on somebody and they'll punch you back right through your attacks, which is kind of annoying. It would be nice if you could keep them on the ropes, but they have very fast, like rapid attacks that can do a decent amount of damage. But early on, you're kind of limited in your choices. I would rather have a sword. It's also got better reach. The length of the weapon actually does affect the reach of the weapon, so it's pretty useful to use in that way. But yeah, I think right here we have to do something, and we have to prove our worth, and then we'll have the ability to create our own pawn, which will be our like assistant for the rest of the game. Like once you create your second pawn, that pawn is with you for the rest of the game. There are ways to get rid of all of your pawns, but for the most part, he's going to be with you. He's going to be by your side for the entire thing. So you walk up, you examine. You go to these stones also, like, so I said earlier that you recruit other people's pawns to come fight with you. The pawns that you recruit don't level up with you. So if you're level 15, you go pick up a couple of level 15 pawns to come with you, and you level up to level 20, they are still going to be 15. They will gain no strength based on your level or anything like that. So eventually you have to come to one of these rocks and replace them again. Kind of sucks, because if you find a pawn you like and then you outlevel them, you're kind of boned. You got no choice but to give them up. Some people online will talk about how like a pawn's level doesn't matter quite as much as their skills and stats and everything like that. And that is true, but especially early on like this, levels make a big difference. Like but the difference between a level 60 and a level 80 or 90, not that much. The difference between a level 10 and a level 40, huge. So early on, you're gonna have to swap them out pretty regularly. Oh, stuttering like crazy. I think right now I have to go fight a troll or something. I don't remember. Yeah. So like we fought that chimera earlier. This is going to be another large monster that you have the ability to like jump on and gouge, but I'm not going to, because unlike the character I was playing previously, this guy's weak and kind of crap so far because it's only like level 2. I'm like level 2 or level 3. Speaking of levels, you might be tempted early on to run up, because you're going to find that a lot of the enemies are really difficult to fight, so you might be tempted early on to run around and grind a little bit on some of the weaker enemies to gain more power. I would suggest to not do that. What you actually want to do is you want to make a beeline for the main city. Now I'll explain how you get there in just a minute, but first I'll explain why you want to do that. So like I was saying earlier, there are 9 different classes in this game. And also like I said, each class upgrades your stats in different ways. The thing is, the 3 starter stats that I picked from a little while ago, they all increase your stats per level like garbage. They have the lowest stat gains per level out of all the classes. And so, you want to go to one of those other classes as quickly as possible. There's a limit. You can't... Oh, I gotta move. This is the part where I wish I had a range attack, because this guy is not somebody you want to try and fight. But fortunately, they pretty much hand this guy to you on a plate. You know, his health is already pretty much gone. He's also an idiot. Not seem to be doing much damage. I might try crawling up on him. If you can hit him in the eye, that's his weak point for this guy, obviously. Also, his tusks break off, and that's pretty good. But like I was saying with the classes, there's a limit to when you can... Okay, this is not working. There's a limit to when you can actually switch. So the limit is level 10. At level 10, you have the ability to... Oh, jeez. At level 10, you have the ability to switch classes. And before then, it doesn't matter. You can stay as one of these crappy starter classes until level 10, because you can't do anything about it anyways. But as soon as you're level 10, you want to switch to a higher class so you can start making good stat gains. If you wait until like level 30 to switch, you are going to be dozens of stat points behind somebody who switched at level 10, and it makes a big difference in the long run. Like one of the mistakes I made early on was, let's see if I can bring it up right now. So under equipment. So you see how it says fighter and it says rank, and I have that one red splotch. Well, when I first started playing, I was like, well, I'll upgrade my rank in fighter to max before I switch to the next class. That took me until like level 30 to do, and by then I had wasted cumulatively over 100 stat points that could go into, see down there, strength, magic defenses, all that goes up with the levels, and all of the advanced classes increase those way more than the basic classes. So it's a huge waste to spend any time as a fighter or what are the other two are called, mage and ranger or whatever. Don't spend any time as those until after level 100. After level 100, the stat gains for each class levels out considerably. And you can go back to fighter or mage or any or whatever and level them up. You want to get points in rank so that you can get their special class attributes. So like the fighter can do certain things. Like he'll gain like a 25% defense to all damage or whatever, but it doesn't unlock until rank 7. But you don't want to waste levels getting to rank 7, so you want to go back after level 100 and get that. There are also ways to do it before you get to level 100. It's a weird system that I'll get into a little bit later when I get to that point. But the point being, you want to make a beeline for the city so you can change your class ideally at level 10. I hope this isn't stuttering too much because I'm watching my replay and I seem to be like freezing constantly. I hope the audio isn't. It's okay if the video freezes as long as the audio doesn't freeze too much. But anyway, let's deal with this guy. Almost got killed against the first like boss monster. But yeah, the eye is the best place to do damage. If you hit in the general area, you'll usually do the damage to the thing you're trying to hit. The reason why I like the assassin class in this game is because it has a range attack. Mages only have ranged basically. They have magic melee attacks, but they're semi-ranged and also not very good range attacks. Warriors only have melee attacks and have no range. Assassins a great balance, can do a ton of damage both ways. Can't take a lot of damage. They're kind of glass cannons. That's okay because a lot of like if a fighter has 120 health and an assassin has 100 health, but the enemy just hit you with an attack that does 75 damage, does it matter who had 120 and who had 100? You're both getting most of your health taken away. I'd rather be the glass cannon than somebody who can take slightly more damage but deals significantly less. I'm really hoping that that the playback is just my bandwidth sucking and not the actual video itself stuttering. Otherwise, I'm going to be bummed and have to do all this over again. But so you beat that guy, you go back inside, and now that you've proven your worth by defeating a stupid Cyclops basic enemy, they're gonna let you make your own pawn. And I think after I make the pawn, I will probably cut the stream off just because I'm worried about the quality. I don't know if it's affecting the stream, but it's certainly affecting my playback of the stream. And also, I want to figure out why my camera stopped moving on my source viewpoint. I don't even know what to call it. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'll create my character, and I think I'll call. And after that, I'll stop playing because there's no way you can't like save, go do something. Nah, I fucked up, and reload the save. Whatever you do, you're stuck in the game with. You can't have multiple characters, anything like that. So once I turn the stream off, I'll probably turn the game off as well because I want this to be, at least at first, as I'm explaining everything, I want it to be a full play that you can watch me progress through the game with. Like eventually, I will have to grind. Maybe have to is a strong word. I will want to grind to make the game more manageable, and I'll probably cut a lot of that out because that is a lot of sleep at the tavern, go outside, kill the same 15 enemies, go back inside, sleep at the tavern 3 times because the enemies respawn after 3 in-game days, and then go do that back and forth over and over and over again. And that is fucking boring to do. So I can't even imagine how boring it would be to watch. But we do get to make our whatever character. A lot of people, what they do is they will make their secondary pawn look and be exactly like their player character, their primary thing. That way, whenever someone else rents out their pawn, they're renting out them. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to make it look like you, Robert, because I know you're the only person watching this. I'm going to make it look like Robert, my brother, because I think that's fun. So we'll make him a girl. No. So we'll make him a guy. We will name him, okay, why are you doing this to me? I don't want to do that. So click, we will name him Sir Ribbert. Because I like calling him Ribbert. I don't know why. And once again, the name doesn't really matter because they never bring up the game because the game is actually does a good job of being voice acted, but there's no way they could do the thing that Fallout does where they actually say your name in conversation. Even though I think that only happens in Fallout like once, or maybe twice by Codswell, whatever the robot's name is. They didn't even do a good job there. But they definitely couldn't do it in this game. So they never bring up your name, not in text or in conversation. Something that starts with an R. Rachel? No. Ragnos. We're gonna name him Raiden. And the moniker is. This is a weird thing. So the moniker is. It says right there. Will display for players with parental controls enabled. One, I don't think anybody has parental controls enabled these days. And two, even if they did, I don't know if it scans your name, like the name, and determines if there's a swear word in it or not, and then if there is a swear word, shows them the moniker, or if by default it just shows them the moniker regardless. I don't know. Nobody's really going to care that much. All they're going to do is they're going to look at what skills you gave them and what equipment they have, and if they like that, they'll go with that. But otherwise, they could give a fuck what you named the thing. Although one person named it named their character John Glames, which is from the Operation Stealth game, which I thought was pretty fucking funny. I actually 5-starred that character based on the name alone, but other than that, I don't remember anybody who's ever named a character anything interesting. Alright, we're going to give him January, February, March, April. We're going to give him Type 5 because he was born in the 5th month. Once again, can't hear it. Hope it's funny. Make more detailed edits. Now, the reason I was laughing at that hairstyle earlier is because it's the hairstyle I'm going to give him because he has long, shaggy hair. Yeah, this one. Long, shaggy hair. I'm not going to change his face shape. You get the same face as I do. Although I will change your facial hair if that's an option. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Make more detailed edits. So, edit body. We're going to do stature. He is almost as tall as I am, so I made myself this one, so I'll make him that one. And I think I gave myself that one, so I'm gonna make him slightly slimmer too. I know he weighs a little bit less than me. Ha ha ha. You can do nothing about it, Robert. He's definitely darker skinned than me though. I think I gave myself this one, so I'll give him that one. He's a pretty muscular bro dude. I'll give him the same one I gave myself, I think. I don't remember. Let's see here. And I'm going to give him 3, because I know I was considering that one for myself, but I went with a different one. His arms aren't quite as long as mine. I think 5's a good one. I'm trying to go through this one quicker, because who the hell wants to watch somebody else make a character for not even their own player character, but a secondary character? I'm 3 levels removed from being interesting. You know what? Those look fine. I love how defined the upper torso is, all the musculature, and no matter which legs you pick, they're always like 0 definition, just like that. I don't even know what you would call it. Stance. He's got a pretty imposing stature or posture. Damn it. Make him look like this. I'm gonna stick him with the normal one. I do need to give him facial hair though, because he has this horrible beard. That I can't see. Nope, not that. I can't see because of my fucking camera. So I'm gonna assume. There we go. You can't really see that. I think my own character has facial hair, and I meant to take that off. There we go. That's the one. Yeah, his hair is actually kind of reddish, but not that reddish. So let's change that to neon pink. No. That's better. No, he's got like a red-brown thing going on. Maybe I'll leave it. I don't know. I don't see any good colors here. I'm gonna leave him with this. You know what? Screw it. Alright. So that's my brother Ribert, Sir Ribert, and pretty cool. So this guy is gonna be with me for the rest of the game. Not only do I custom create him like this, I also determine what class he is, and you equip him with gear and all that good stuff. So he's basically an extension of yourself. Confirm. Continue. Oh, right. And the game tries its damnedest to make the AI conform to your playstyle. So it's going to ask you questions right now, like, "Hey, what do you want the character to do in this situation or this situation?" And that's great. And also throughout the game, if you have a habit of telling your character like, "Hey, heal me when my health is low," or "protect me when my health is low," or "attack this enemy first," or whatever, the game will slowly adapt to that, and your AI will start doing it by itself without you having to tell it to do it. Sounds great. I'm sure it works. I've never fucking noticed it. As far as I'm concerned, the AI are pretty dumb. They do okay in fights. There are some issues with certain classes that I'll get into later, but like especially the classes that use heavy weapons because these fucking guys are terrible about it. But the game does the best it can. I think it does okay. I want someone who. What am I going to use him for? So I know I'm going to make him a warrior, but he's going to be like this warrior pseudo healer because I'm going to give him a lot of healing items to heal me. So either Iron Will or Quick Thinking. I'll probably go with Quick Thinking. I don't really know. Like you can see how it changes all the different stats, but it gives them all these dumb names that are like I can infer what the name of the thing is going to do, but it doesn't explain it enough. Like what is a Scather? Someone who so is he going to draw a lot of attention to himself? Okay, is a Medicant, is that healing, or I don't even know what that is. I definitely want him to rescue comrades in danger. The annoying thing is, like, if your ally loses all of his health, he can get knocked down, and you can go pick him up, which is great. I like that. You don't have to spend any health items or anything like that. You just pick them up, and they come back with a certain amount of health. The problem is, you're the only motherfucker who can do that. Your allies cannot pick each other up. What they can do is they can physically lift the person, like they can carry the person, and they will carry them over to you, and they will throw them at your feet, and then you can pick that person up. But that guy cannot pick up that guy in terms of like restoring his health and getting him back in the fight. So if one of your people is down on the other side of the battlefield and you have an ally or two next to them, but you're all the way over here doing your own thing, you have to make the decision. Am I going to continue my fight or am I going to run all the way over there to heal this motherfucker? Because they can only stay in that state for a certain amount of time before they just disappear. And then they're just gone. And you cannot get them back until the next time you go into town and touch one of those Rift Shard rock things. So you can be kind of fucked in that regard. So they're kind of dumb because they don't do good at all in avoiding attacks. They're not very good at determining what attacks they should be using. Like they'll be fighting a swift enemy and they'll be trying to use heavy attacks and they'll keep getting knocked out of the animation. It's really bad for the warrior class because those guys use two-handed weapons. They're always using heavy attacks. They are always getting fucking interrupted. There are certain skills you can give them that mitigate this, but it's still pretty annoying most of the time. In this situation, though, rescue comrades in danger, I'm hoping that means that he's going to help them before they get, like, knocked out. So I'll go with that one. I'm not giving him great skills to be a warrior, but I'm giving him great skills to be my assistant. I don't know, leave them to me. Which gift would play? See, the questions are kind of weird. I guess if I had one choice, I would want a brave and just hero to succeed you. Oh yeah, and now you get to pick their vocation. And I'm gonna make him a fighter for now. And when we get to town, and like you have 9, the main player character can pick from 9 different vocations, not 4, 9 different vocations. These guys can only pick from 6. They can pick the base 3, and they can pick the moderate level 3. They cannot pick from the advanced or the hybrid classes because you can be like a soldier. You can be a mystic warrior, and you can use spells and maces and shields, or you can be a mystic archer and use magic and blah blah blah. You can do all the different combinations. These guys cannot do that. I don't really know why. Maybe it would break the game in terms of balance, but they can't be hybrid classes. They can only be strictly fighter, rogue, mage, or whatever. you want to call him. But I'm going to make him a fighter. And you do want variation. Like if you, I don't know, if you had 4 fighters, if you had you who as a fighter and then 3 pawns who were all fighters, I guess you'd be okay. It'd be really annoying because you would have no ranged ability. So until you got to the enemy, you could take damage or whatever, or you couldn't do much about aerial enemies, which there are aerial enemies in the game. There's a decent amount of them. There are certain situations where you want ranged, but you could do that and you'd be fine. You wouldn't be fucked. I wouldn't do all mages because those guys can't take hits for shit, and all the magic attacks have cooldowns. So doing all mages would probably not be a great idea, but doing all assassins or all fighters should be fine. I like to have variation, so I'll have my guy, I'll have my brother's character, and we'll both be warriors. Then I'll have 1 mage and 1 ranger archer dude. And when I eventually become a ranger, because that's what I'm going to do when I get the option, I'm going to pick a hybrid class, and I'm going to be the strider, I think it's called. I'll have a range, and then I can have the option of having another fighter or keeping him ranged or whatever. You usually want at least 1 magic user, and you want that magic user to have the ability to throw that green thing, because that green healing spell is pretty much all you got. You can eat food and you can drink potions and shit like that, but it's really annoying to have to do in the middle of battle, and 2, that green thing doesn't cost you anything basically. Whenever you get hit, your health goes down. There's that white bar. That green mist can heal you up to that white bar. So you can't go all the way back to max health, but you can get pretty close. Uh, and the annoying thing is, there's the base level magic user, and then there's the advanced class. The advanced class doesn't have any of that healing shit. So you have to have a magic user who's using the base level, which means they have lower stats. It's a whole annoying thing. But you definitely want at least 1 magic user because they are powerhouses. The magic users, when they get to the higher level spells, they can throw lightning, they can call down meteor strikes and cause earthquakes and shit. They're definitely strong and powerful, but they can't take hits for shit, and the AI especially are pretty dumb about when they're going to use their skills. So most of the time, I will set a magic user to be mostly support, where they're enchanting my weapons and they're healing me and they're also clearing status effects because nobody wants to be poisoned and all different shit. But I've gotten to the point where I was talking about where I made my brother and I made me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I'm going to put this video up on YouTube, and odds are you are watching this on YouTube because nobody's watching it right now. so hello. And I'm also going to continue to I will live stream these. I wish I could say when. It's gonna be on a semi-regular basis. Usually, probably towards the night, like on the days I don't work, I'd probably start around 9 or 10. But on the days I do work, I'm gonna be at work until 11:30, so I might not start until midnight or maybe a little bit later. But it's definitely gonna be towards the night. I'm gonna try to do it daily, or at least 4 or 5 days a week, and I'm gonna try to do the entire game in a reasonable amount of time. Hopefully, if I play for an hour or 2 every day, and knowing what I know about the game, and maybe not doing so much bullshit, and also explaining less and playing more because I've been talking a shit ton in this part, maybe I can get through it in like 2 or 3 weeks, optimistically. That'd be cool because I don't want to play this game forever, and I would also like to stream other things. Because as much as I love this game, nobody gives a shit about this game, and nobody's gonna watch these videos. So I'd probably be much better off streaming, I don't know, Minecraft or whatever. But I don't know, maybe I'll stream Sky Factory. But a single person playing Sky Factory is not interesting because they're very limited on what they can accomplish, especially in like short amounts of time. So I don't know. I like this game way better. This is way more fun. So I'm gonna try and do the whole thing, and hopefully it'll be interesting and more humorous. I want to be more funny, but right now I'm just in explanation mode, like constantly. So not really a chance to make jokes or have funny things happen. Maybe that'll change. Hopefully, this game actually does have some pretty funny moments, which are weird because looking at it, you wouldn't expect it to be like a comedy thing, but there are funny parts. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking now. Thankfully, I am worn out from doing this. So thank you very much for watching. The YouTube channel, I think the name of the YouTube channel is, yeah, it's just Stone Cross, Stone Space Cross, and I'm gonna put it up under the same name that I have it up right now. Full play Dragon's Dogma Part 1. So if you search it and look for Stone Cross, you should be able to find it to the one guy I think who's watching this right now. Otherwise, if you're on YouTube, you've already found it, and hopefully I have other videos up by now. And you can continue watching. But thank you very much for your time. Hopefully when I hit this button, it's going to turn the record off. But it's been fucked ever since I was in the tavern earlier, so we will see. But thank you very much, and good night. Nope.